Raider Nation, I need you locked in for this one, because the rumors floating around right now, they're not small, they're not casual, they're franchise-altering. We're talking about the face of this defense, the relentless edge rusher who's been the heartbeat of the silver and black since he walked into the league, the guy who plays every snap like it's personal, the guy who's stacked double-digit sack seasons, who sets the tone against the run, who embodies everything Raider football is supposed to be. And now, there are two completely different trade scenarios being thrown around that could send this franchise in opposite directions. One idea has the Raiders shipping out their defensive superstar to the Detroit Lions, and in return, landing a 22-year-old cornerback with elite upside, plus the number 17 overall pick and future draft capital, a former Alabama standout, a first-round talent still on a rookie deal, a player who allowed a 101, 5 passer rating when targeted last year, missed 9 tackles, but still has the raw tools to become a lockdown piece in a young secondary. And let's be real, that kind of move screams rebuild. You flip a 28-year-old all-pro level pass rusher coming off a knee injury for youth, cap flexibility, and multiple swings in the draft. Especially when you already hold the number 1 overall pick and nearly $100 million in cap space. That's a front office committing to a long-term vision under John Spytek. But then, there's the other rumor. And this one? It's chaos. A blockbuster proposal involving that same defensive star, plus the no. 1 overall pick, plus 2 more first-rounders, plus multiple Day 2 selections, all for 1 quarterback from the Cincinnati Bengals. A proven franchise QB, a guy who's taken a team to the Super Bowl, elite when healthy, but also a player who's missed 16 games over the last 2 seasons and is about to turn 30. Raider Nation, that's not a rebuild. That's not a reset. That's pushing all your chips to the center of the table with a roster that just went through one of the most painful seasons we've seen in years. And here's where I stand as a die-hard fan. You can trade the defensive cornerstone and go full rebuild. Or you can keep him and build around him. But you cannot pretend you're rebuilding while also mortgaging 8 premium draft picks for a win-now quarterback. That's how franchises stay stuck in the middle. And we've lived in the middle for 2 decades. This team has 10 draft picks, massive cap space, the number 1 overall selection, a chance to finally reset the quarterback position the right way. This is the most pivotal offseason we've had in a long time. So today we're breaking it all down. Is the young corner plus picks package actually smart roster construction? Should the Raiders demand 2 first-rounders minimum for their defensive star? And why that quarterback mega trade might completely derail the rebuild before it even starts. But before we go any further, if you're a real member of Raider Nation, smash that like button right now. Subscribe to Raiders Nation Update and help us hit 2,000 subscribers. Only the true fans who bleed silver and black are riding through this rebuild with us. Because one decision this offseason could define the next decade of Raiders football. Raider Nation, this offseason is getting wild. We already talked about the possibility of Maxx Crosby being available, but now there's a new trade idea that sends him to the Detroit Lions. And in return, the Las Vegas Raiders would land a young stud corner and premium draft capital. Yeah, this one is serious. All right, let's get into it. The proposed trade package. According to a recent idea floated by Alex Ballantyne, the Raiders would send Maxx Crosby to Detroit in exchange for cornerback Terrion Arnold the No, 17 overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, a 2027 second-round pick. That's the framework. Now let's breathe and analyze this like real football fans. Why Detroit makes sense. The Lions are in win-now mode. Head coach Dan Campbell has built a physical roster, but they faded late last season and need another game-wrecker on defense. Crosby instantly upgrades any pass rush in football. He's 28, entering his 8th season, and when healthy, he's one of the most relentless edge defenders in the league. Multiple double-digit sack seasons, elite pressure rates, top-tier run defender. The motor never stops. Yes, he's coming off a knee injury and missed time in 2025. But when he's on the field, he changes games. That's why contenders would line up. Now let's talk about Terrion Arnold. Arnold is only 22, turning 23 soon. Former first-team All-American at Alabama, first-round pick in 2024. He fits the timeline if the Raiders are truly rebuilding around a rookie quarterback like Fernando Mendoza. But let's keep it real. Arnold's 2025 numbers weren't elite. 31 total tackles, 1 interception, 8 passes defended, allowed a 101. 5 passer rating when targeted, missed 9 games. That's not shutdown production. However, and this is important, cornerback development takes time. He has elite traits, length, SEC pedigree, and he'd be under contract for at least 3 more seasons with a potential 5th-year option. That kind of cost-controlled youth matters in a rebuild. Is this enough for Crosby? That's the real question. We just heard reports that the Raiders' asking price for Crosby starts at 2 first-round picks and a player. This deal includes 1 first-rounder, number 17, a second-rounder in 2027, and Arnold. Is that equal value? Maybe. But here's my issue. If I'm GM John Spytek, I'm pushing hard for another first-round pick instead of that second-rounder. Crosby is more proven than a lot of the elite defenders who've been traded in recent years. He's arguably one of the best run-defending edge players in football, on top of being a premier pass rusher. Even if he's not as young as some other stars, he's still in his prime. If the Lions truly want him to put them over the top, pay up. The bigger picture. Let's zoom out. The Raiders are projected to have nearly $100 million in cap space. They hold the number 1 overall pick. They likely draft their franchise quarterback. If you're resetting around a 22-year-old QB, aligning the defense timeline makes sense. Arnold at 22, multiple first and second-round picks, 10 total draft selections, cap flexibility. That's how you rebuild fast. But you don't trade away identity lightly. Crosby is the defense. He sets the tone. He embodies effort. He plays through pain. He represents Raider toughness. Moving him sends a message. Full reset. My honest take. If Crosby requests a trade, this is not a bad starting point. Young first-round corner, mid-first-round pick this year, future second, that's real value. But if he hasn't asked out and the locker room wants him here, I'd need Detroit to include another first-rounder to make it truly worth it. You don't trade a culture setter for good value. You trade him for franchise-altering value. Raider Nation, what do you think? Would you accept Terry and Arnold, pick number 17 and a 2027 second, or do you demand 2 firsts minimum? Or is Max untouchable, no matter what? Drop your takes in the comments. I want to hear from you. Raider Nation, I need you to sit down for this one, because there is a trade idea floating around that would send Maxx Crosby, the number 1 overall pick, and a mountain of draft capital to the Cincinnati Bengals for 1 player. That player? Joe Burrow. Yeah. Before we go any further, hit that like button and subscribe to Raiders Nation Update right now. We are pushing toward 2,000 subscribers, and if you care about this team and want real analysis with real passion, this is the place to be. All right, let's break this down calmly, because this one would completely lose the plot. The proposed trade, brace yourself. Here's the package being floated. Bengals receive Maxx Crosby, the 2026. No, 1 overall pick, 2 additional first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, 3 third-round picks Raiders receive. Joe Burrow. That's 8 premium draft picks, plus Crosby, for 1 quarterback. I'm going to say this clearly. That would be reckless. Let's talk about where the Raiders actually are. The Las Vegas Raiders just finished a dreadful 2025 season. They finally bottomed out. They finally hold the number 1 overall pick. They finally have a young head coach in Clint Kubiak and a GM in John Spytek who understands building through the draft. For the first time in years, this franchise is positioned to do a full reset. And that matters. For 2 decades, the Raiders have lived in the middle. Not bad enough to fully rebuild, not good enough to truly contend. This is the moment to choose a direction. Yes, Joe Burrow is elite, when healthy. Let's be fair. When healthy, Joe Burrow is a top-tier quarterback. He's taken a team to the Super Bowl. He's accurate, poised, clutch. But here's the problem. He's missed 16 games in the last 2 seasons. He's suffered 3 major injuries in his career. He'll turn 30 next season. That's not a young, clean slate franchise reset. That's a win-now quarterback. And here's the contradiction. You can't rebuild and go all in at the same time trading Crosby for picks? That signals a rebuild. Trading 8 day 1 and day 2 picks for Burrow? That signals Super Bowl window is open right now. You cannot do both. If you trade Crosby and empty your draft cupboard for 3 years, what exactly are you building around Burrow? You'd have no first-rounders for 2 years, no second-rounders, no third-rounders, and you just lost your defensive identity in Crosby. That's not a contender. That's a top-heavy roster with no depth. The smarter path. If the Raiders want a quarterback, they're sitting at number 1 overall. That likely means Fernando Mendoza is staring them in the face. Why not? Draft Mendoza, keep Crosby. Keep your picks, use your nearly $100 million in cap space, build a young, balanced roster. Or, if you truly want to rebuild hard, trade Crosby for 2 first-round picks or more, stockpile assets, and reset the timeline completely. But giving up Crosby and the no. 1 pick and 8 premium selections? That's panic mode. My honest fan take. I love Joe Burrow as a player, but this trade would feel desperate, and desperate teams stay stuck. We finally did the hard part. We lost enough to reset properly. It was painful, it was ugly, but we earned the number 1 pick. Don't throw that away. Don't sacrifice 3 drafts. Don't mortgage the future just to skip the development phase. Smart teams build dynasties through controlled aggression, not emotional swings. Raider Nation, I need your take. Would you ever consider this package for Burrow? Or is this the definition of overpay? Should we keep Crosby and draft Mendoza, trade Crosby for picks and fully rebuild, or go all in on a proven QB like Burrow? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's debate this the right way. And if you appreciate real breakdowns like this, make sure you like the video and subscribe to Raiders Nation Update. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers, and every single one of you helps grow this Raider Nation community. This is Victor. Stick to the plan. Just win, baby.